Yeah, so I've got some tweets or some reactions from yesterday's 2-0 defeat. Let's see what people are saying. The Spurs web have tweeted, Thiago Silva literally throws himself to the ground and it's considered using all his experience, but if Kane does that in the Chelsea box and gets a penalty, he's the biggest cheat going and a massive diver, double standards and poor officiating.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about in the match review, wasn't it? Exactly the same thing. It's like, it's just every time if a Spurs player goes down and does this, apparently it's a big cheat. But apparently if it's against Spurs, it's for Chelsea, then he's very clever.
Yeah, exactly, and that's annoying that the narrative's played that way. But I think defenders, they get a lot more leeway when it comes to those cheap fouls, don't they? You see so often in their own half, a defender just gets touched, he goes down, and 9 times out of 10, the referee will blow up and give a free kick.
That ain't a foul anywhere else on the pitch, is it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's even borderline if a referee gave a penalty for that, VAR might even overturn it. That's how soft it was. So look, it was such a slight touch.
Why didn't VAR go back look at that yesterday?
Because the
referee, is it because the referee blew before?
No, he didn't. That's not true. But
the ref didn't blow?
No, he didn't. The reason why is because if VAR can only overturn that if there's no contact between Kane and Silva, because there's even the slightest bit of contact, that means the referee has accurately seen what has happened, and if he's adjudged that to be a foul, VAR can't get involved. They can only get involved if there's clear evidence of no contact between Silva and Kane. That's the only way they can get involved. The extra inch say yet another example of what I've been saying about the threshold for overturning terrible refereeing being wrong. Roy Keane saying there was enough of a push to justify a foul. I absolutely guarantee if it was a push by Silva on Kane, he'd be saying Kane went down easily, not calling for a penalty to be given. Apparently Roy Keane agreed the referee's decision yesterday on the panel.
That because Roy Keane is usually like this hard man that's being like that goes completely against this kind of stuff. It's a weird one that he's completely for it.
Yeah, first of all, that's strange.
That's strange, in my opinion.
Secondly, what do you think of their point? Is the extra inches point saying another example of the threshold, about the threshold for overturning terrible refereeing decisions being wrong, because the threshold was the referee has to accurately describe what he's seen. Is that right? What should the threshold be for overturning a decision? It's difficult to know, isn't it? But
I mean, you're playing a dangerous game here, but I don't know what the threshold should be because it's all so hard to tell, isn't it? Because everything happens in a split decision. You don't know what the referee's actually seen and what he's claimed to have seen. I don't know. The threshold can be. I just don't know, to be honest. I genuinely don't know. It's a hard one. It's a very hard one.
Should the VAR get involved?
In my opinion, yes. But
then again, you saw the Jota one. The Jota
one was a disgrace.
And the VAR got involved in that.
I know they did. Every week we're seeing different decisions, no consistency in the Premier League in terms of this kind of stuff.
How many times do you reckon that Jota foul has happened? The referee hasn't given a penalty and VAR hasn't got involved yet. Yesterday, they do get involved, and I think I think similar thing with. I mean, VAR obviously the VAR didn't get involved in this one.
The whole thing with VAR and the referees and the consistency, it just all confuses me so much. I just don't get it all. Some weeks it's yes, some weeks it's no, and like, come on, man, just have some bit of consistency about you.
Has VAR made a poor refereeing decision? He says, "What on earth have I just witnessed?" And there's the foul. Oh, sorry, by Harry Kane. I just can't believe that it's that it was given. James Moore says, if a defender does that and a penalty is given, everyone is losing their shit. That is absolutely true.
Sorry, what was that?
If a defender does that and a penalty is given, everyone's going to lose their shit.
That's what we keep saying.
Yeah, absolutely right. Lily White Rose says, 4th defeat of the season to Chelsea with an aggregate of 8-0. But let's not get too down on this. We never get anything in the bridge, and we did get a big 3 points on the board away to Leicester midweek. Table still looks good considering our games played to others.
This is not the time to panic in terms of our league position. This is the time to panic in terms of bringing in signings and the rumours of who we're going to get out and stuff like that. But that's a conversation for another hour.
Yeah, but look, 2 points behind with 2 games in hand on 4th. We're obviously a point behind West Ham with 3 games in hand, and we're obviously level on points with Arsenal with 1 game in hand. So, even though we lost to Chelsea yesterday, we have 4 games in hand, and then we can go above them. Yeah, amazingly. I don't know how. I don't know who the 4th game in hand is, because obviously you got Brighton, Burnley, and Arsenal. No, to Chelsea. Who's the 4th game in hand then? I don't understand.
Our game in hand, you mean?
To Chelsea. Because we got Burnley, Arsenal, and Brighton. I don't know what the 4th one would be. It says we've got 4 games in hand on Chelsea.
No idea.
I don't know.
That's a strange one.
Maybe it's when they play the Club World Cup or something. I don't know.
Oh, they're playing their game against Arsenal next week, or in 2 weeks, got postponed, didn't it?
I don't know. Is it all because of the Club World Cup?
I don't know if it's the Club World Cup or Carabao Cup final or something, but it's been postponed. I know that for sure. I just don't know why it's been postponed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what our 4th game would be. If anyone knows, let us know in the comment section. I know they've played an extra game, but I don't know.
In FPL, in the next FPL week, Chelsea don't have a game week.
Right.
And we play Southampton.
That would be the Club World Cup then.
Must be.
Yeah, it's not going to be it's not going to be the Carabao yet. That's in February.
Then, yeah.
That's in the end of February.
Chelsea against Arsenal got postponed, and maybe another game as well.
Chelsea never got a game postponed. They played their game against Brighton early, so they moved their game forward. They're saying against the second Brighton game they played was moved forward because they I think because of the Club World Cup. So that's why. Okay. The new signing Chelsea have is unreal. Hadn't heard of him before today. You heard of this guy?
No.
New Chelsea signing.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, the
come on, Tierney.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely on Chelsea's. That was from
everyone
Mark.
was talking about how much of a prick Tierney is yesterday. I thought they were talking about Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, I know. It was also true. But can't tell which one. But yeah, look, I thought he was terrible yesterday.
He's terrible. Every time I've seen him ref this season, something's gone wrong in the game.
Yeah,
literally.
Definitely. Then. Who's this from? Matt Law. Antonio Conte always says his players have to suffer, but now it's Tottenham chairman Daniel Levy's turn to take some pain with the Italian desperate for ins and outs. That is what Matt Law's. That was his assessment after the game yesterday, and that couldn't be more true, could it?
Oh man, just bring us in some signings, man. We're now what?
I want to see Levy. I want to see Levy crying while writing a check. That's
7 days from now until the end of the window, and we still haven't brought anyone in. And like, it's making me look like a real idiot when I called for calm 7 days into the window. When I still stand by it, 7 days in the window, you should have calm. But right now, I'm starting to panic.
Definitely. Squawker Football said Antonio Conte's first 10 Premier League games in charge of Chelsea, 7 wins, 1 draw, 2 defeats, 22 points won. Antonio Conte's first 10 games at Spurs, 6 wins, 3 draws, 1 defeat, 21 points won. Very similar stats. So we're going to win in the league this season.
Of course
then
we are, mate. if it wasn't for Man City, we could have.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see. Then there was Tactical Times. That was spectacularly forgettable game of football. I'm not sure Spurs have any positives to take from it. Slow and cautious and generally miserable. May have been a different story if Kane goal stands. Probably just cements their defensive approach. Not much fun. The Tactical Times weren't enjoying the game yesterday.
Why is no one talking about literally that's the situation we were put in because of injuries and because of not investing in the squad? That's literally, I don't put that down to the players on the pitch. I don't put it down to the manager. I put it purely down to us not investing in our squad the way we should have done, and injuries.
Exactly, and that's the reality of our squad.
You can't blame the players that aren't good enough. They're not. No,
I'm not blaming Doherty for not being good enough. I'm blaming the board for us having Doherty in the
pitch.
Live video evidence of Kante turning Tottenham around from Lee Brown. Just about. Go on. Is he gonna do it? No, that would be scary. I wouldn't want to be in that car. Yeah, Conte's the driver.
Oh, if Conte's the driver, it's all good.
No, he did it at the end. Exactly. He got there in the end. Kane from the lane says Kane's push versus Silva's two-handed shove on Davis for their goal. Apparently, so there's Kane's push. If can you zoom in? He's got one hand on Silva.
Kane's push, yeah, if you want to call it a push.
And then here is apparently there's evidence of Thiago. I can't really see it. Thiago Silva having two hands on Ben Davis.
Manhandling, mate. Manhandling.
That was for the goal which he scored. So he shoves Ben Davis and gets a goal, and yet no punishment. That is frustration for Kane from the lane. BR Football says Chelsea beat Tottenham for the 4th time this season. Dearie me. That's not great.
Time in the space of a month.
And let's talk about, I guess, and that's obviously Giovanni Lo Celso. That was his Instagram post just before the game when he was being left out. Said, regarding the questions I received, I would like to clear out that I am 100% in good physical condition. I have no problem. I feel very well. I wish the best to my team in the derby. And he posted a picture of him with the rest of the Tottenham squad. And
also, Kante made some interesting comments about it after the game as well. He was talking about, you got asked the club about this decision. I mean, do you think that? What did you read anything into what Kante was saying?
Clearly, from what we're hearing today, 100%. I think that's clear now that he's being left out because either a transfer is close or they're in discussions about one.
Do you think that that Kante wants him gone? Do you think he wants to use him yesterday?
I think Conte's been very complimentary of Lo Celso previously, saying he's a very good player, we need to use him and all that kind of stuff. I think generally, actually, since he's been from injury, I think he has used him. I think he started the first leg against Chelsea, didn't he? Regarding whether we thought he played well or not, he started the game against Chelsea in the first leg of the Carabao. I think he came on with half an hour to go in the second leg, I think. No, did he start the second leg? No, I think he started the second leg as well. I think he started the second leg as well in the Carabao.
Right, actually,
I think he was the first player to come on Wednesday night when we played Leicester when we needed a goal. He was the first player to come on. So I think since coming back from injury, he's been using him a lot, and I think he's a player he does like. And the thing is,
he has been poor each and every time, pretty much under Kante.
He has been poor, but I think he is a player he does like. And I think he is a player that he has shown that he's used. Also, I don't think we've played him in his best position yet at Tottenham. I think if we played a 3-5-2 with him in the central mid positions in a 3, that would be his best position. We yet to see him there. We keep him
for Argentina.
Exactly. We keep putting him on the wing, on the right hand side, in those where I don't think he's as effective, and I think he's shown that. So,
I've got some interesting points on Lo Celso, so we'll go in deeper into Lo Celso in a bit. But let's carry on with what's going on Twitter.
Another thing for the extra interest, definitely no need to be a doomer about our season's hopes after today, which is yesterday. He said we had Son, Romero, Skip, Reguilon, Emerson, and Lucas all either injured or unable to start. That's over half of Conte's first choice 11, and that's a point you were making before.
Exactly spot on. I mean, we can't get too downhearted when you're going and playing the European champions. Yes, they might be Chelsea and one of our rivals, but ultimately they are the European champions, right? If you're going to go there with a depleted squad, when Conte's already said that if one or two players from our starting 11 gets injured, we're in trouble. And not only does he say that earlier on in the season, but he also says before this game we're in a state of emergency. So I actually think we did all right whilst being in a state of emergency yesterday.
And as we've said before, for Chelsea and City and to an extent Liverpool, and they have how many players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If they've got 6 of their starting 11 out, it's not as big of an issue for them as it is fast. Because if they don't, they have good players coming. And if we don't, we have Doherty and Sessegnon's our wingers. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's the difference. And James Dickens says, Antonio Conte spends so much time trying to make a point about needing transfer funds, he forgets that Chelsea drew with Brighton, Wolves and Everton in their last 7 games. He'll say afterwards the Spurs don't have the squad to compete in a one-off game. That's not true in my opinion. The game is about glory, playing Matt Doherty at right wing. And then he posts this picture with Dele, Lo Celso and Ndombele, and there's Conte, and then he says we have no midfielders.
Want Dele and Ndombele or Lo Celso at right wing?
No, all starting in this kind of game. Except for maybe, I reckon we could have played Lo Celso maybe in a 5-3-2, but I don't think, Dele and Ndombele, they're on their way out. Like, we're trying to get rid of them actively.
And from what we're hearing, Lo Celso could be on his way out as well.
Yeah.
So,
but James goes on to say, Spurs will be fine. Conte is brilliant and will make it work. However, as a wise man once said, this rebuild will be painful.
exactly.
That's 100% right. And then there's Elias with the same image. All right, and that's it from our Twitter Reacts.